Hello, sweet ones, and welcome to this week's episode of Embodied Divinity. Let's start with a big, deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Today, I'm sharing with you my journey through yet another dark night of the soul, and I'm sharing it really real and raw and authentic as always because I feel like not a lot of people share the darkest parts of the healing journey, and that can leave us feeling isolated and alone and even a little bit crazy. And so today is a prayer for the ones who are still breathing, even when they're not sure they want to be. It's a song for the ones who are so tired they've forgotten what it feels like to be anything else. So if you're here, if you pressed play, if you didn't vanish completely, this one is for you. Let yourself fall into this space like it's a safe place to unravel, because it is. And remember to keep breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, sinking into the steady rhythm of the universe. If you're anything like me, you've probably felt like you have died and been reborn again about 1,000,000,000 times in this lifetime, in this body. And I used to go through dark nights of the soul or rebirths or voids, and it would totally take me out. And now I've kind of found this steady wave of awareness of, oh, we're disintegrating into the ash again. And I can hold myself through it, and I can be with myself through it, and I can embrace it and not have any shame or doubt or fear about the process. And that's been happening to me the last couple of months, is this big, deep kind of rebirth of just laying in the ash before I'm ready to rise again. And a couple weeks ago, I laid in the shower and I really just wanted to disappear. I was so sick, I could barely sit upright, and my body was trembling, and my head was throbbing, and my stomach was heaving. And in the fog of that moment, somewhere between nausea and hallucination, something ancient rose in me. She wasn't gentle. She was rage and ruin. She was a scream I've kept in my throat for years. She wanted to claw out of my skin. She wanted to rip off the expectations, the pressure, the smile I keep wearing when I'm breaking inside. She whispered things like, burn it all, walk away, be done with everything. And I let her speak, because sometimes the woman inside us doesn't need a rescue. She needs to be heard. And that night in the shower, I didn't find peace, but I did find a truth. I will not yield even when I want to, even when I don't believe in my own magic, even when I ache for someone to hold me and there's no one, even when life feels hollow and heavy and hopeless. I will not yield. There is a sacred space between wanting to die and choosing to live. It's the space where miracles are born, not the shiny kind, but the kind that tastes like blood and salt and prayers whispered into towels at 3 a.m. I know this space well, and I'm sure you do too. It's the moment where your mind says, I can't do this, but your body keeps breathing anyway. It's the moment you cancel a trip because your soul said no and you don't even know why, but you do trust that whisper. It's the moment when you should be celebrating a new client, a new blessing, but your heart is still under rubble. And this is what I want you to hear. You can be completely undone and still holy. You can be broken and worthy. You can be so tired you forget your name and still be the one the universe is using to bring light into this world. You don't have to be okay to be sacred. You just have to be honest and here. Before we get deeper into this, I created a guided meditation for you this Wednesday that's going to help you really deepen into the knowing that you are sacred and beautiful, even when you feel weary. So if you're feeling resonance with this share today, listen to that and allow yourself to deepen into it, because deepening into it and creating alchemy from that was one of the most powerful things that I've learned how to do. And I know you'll feel that power too. So I've been telling you that a couple months ago I replaced all of my self-help books with fantasy novels, and it's been really great. In fact, that I Will Not Yield was Aelin Ashrither Galathinius's saying in A Throne of Glass, and it was such a powerful read for me. But the series that I'm in now, I've been reading the Zodiac Academy books. If you don't know, it's okay. There's no spoilers, but I was all in with these books, book after book, cheering for these women because they were badass and they were rising to the occasion. They were surviving. It was amazing. And I get to book 5. Okay, there's 9 books in the series, and it's the same thing. They kept being beaten down. Every win was taken away. Every spark was extinguished again and again and again. And I had just had to close the book. I couldn't stomach it anymore. Not because the writing changed, but because I did. Because somewhere deep in my bones, I knew I am done with stories that demand endless suffering. I am done glorifying the path of pain as proof of worth. And I no longer want to identify with a character who keeps getting hurt and calls it growth. And maybe that's what's happening for us as a collective too. Maybe that's why everything feels unbearable. Maybe we're shedding that story, the one where we have to suffer to be chosen, the one where we have to burn ourselves down to rise again, the one where miracles only come when we've bled enough. I reject that narrative. I choose one where rest is holy, where gentleness is strength, and where being here, even barely, is enough. If you're listening right now and you feel a little broken, if you're still here even though you don't know why, I want you to hear this. May you remember that presence is power. May your wariness be seen as sacred by your own eyes. May your nervous system feel the softness of mercy. May your rage be honored, your grief be held, and your silence be heard. May the universe whisper back to you, let me show you how good it can get. Let that be your mantra this week. Say it softly like a spell. Show me how good it can get. Show me how good it can get. Show me how good it can get. I started doing this, and I plan on holding this frequency through the month of August, because when I was in that place of darkness and rebirth, there was still this beautiful light inside of me that said, you get things get to be different. You get to alchemize this into something beautiful. And so, even in my despair, even in my grief, even in all of the nausea and everything that my physical body was going through, I whispered, show me how good it can get. Because I do believe that things are shifting, especially for the ones who have held it all for so long, who have been the light for so long. And if we can hold on to that thread of faith and knowing it will get better, we can change everything. And I think that a big part of that comes with just admitting where you're at. I remember when I just sat and looked at the mirror and I said very plainly, I am so tired. I feel so broken, but I'm still here. And that is enough, and that is enough, and that is enough. I felt something shift inside of me. Some days I don't feel strong and I don't feel inspiring and I don't feel like a leader or a healer or a mentor. Sometimes I feel like a ghost of myself, like a body walking through fog. But even then, and even now, I know this: I will not yield. I am so much more powerful than I currently believe. I am worthy of love and miracles and magic and ease, even when I feel like nothing. And so are you. 15 years ago, when I was starting my journey into the online world and creating my business, my grandpa, who was an entrepreneur, sent me a letter, which was very cute. You can't really call it a letter, but it came in the mail. And it was this yellow lined, the yellow paper with the pink lines. And he had ripped it out of the page, and it had 5 words on it: Kyla, always persevere. Love, Grandpa. And it's interesting because I carried that with me for the first 10 years of my journey into entrepreneurship. And I held on to it so tightly. And then I went through this phase about 5 years ago where I really just wanted life to feel easy and soft. And I didn't want to fight or persevere anymore. And I wanted to create a different kind of life. And so I got rid of the letter. And I do regret it. but I got rid of anything that reminded me to fight or persevere because I wanted to choose a new narrative. And when he passed, it was all I could think about. And there was a little bit of like anger in me too, because, when you've always been the strong one, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this, when you've always been the strong one and the light and the one to just keep going and to hold others, it can feel exhausting to always need to show up and persevere and fight. But then this new kind of fire was born in me after he passed, of really wanting to be strong, but when I get to choose it, not out of survival or need, but like I wanted to choose strength and fierceness and still honor my softness. And so luckily I actually sent him a message on Facebook telling him that I read that letter every day when I was reading it every day, and I sent him a picture of it, and so I printed it out, and now I have it again. But it was this really beautiful journey of going from being the strong one and always persevering from a place of survival and desperation to really honoring my softness and the way it can be easy, and then finding my inner fighter again, my inner strength again, not from survival, but from empowered choice, and merging that softness with strength together. And that's shifted everything. And so, whether you're in the period of fighting for survival or sinking into your softness or choosing an empowered strength, I want you to know that you are worthy, and things do change and things do shift. All you have to do is keep breathing. I believe that your softness is a revolution. I believe that choosing to stay and not perform or produce, just stay, is a sacred act of defiance. I believe that miracles are still coming even when we can't see them. I believe in a love so real and so safe and so true that it will hold us like the arms we've been longing for. I believe the body knows even when the mind forgets. I believe that we are here not by accident, but by assignment. And I believe that one day soon you'll look back and say, oh, that was the moment everything changed. I want you to know that you're allowed to be wary. You're allowed to not have it together. You're allowed to question everything and still be a conduit for God. You're allowed to grieve the stories you've outgrown and write new ones that feel like home. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You don't need to be loud to be heard, and you don't need to be on fire to be lit from within. Your ache is an altar, and your stillness is sacred, and your presence is enough. Let's place one hand on our hearts and another on our womb or belly and breathe in. I am here. Breathe out. That is enough. Breathe in, I am holy. Breathe out, even when I'm hurting. Breathe in, I will not yield. Breathe out, let the miracles come. And repeat after me. I am so much more powerful than I currently believe. And let that truth live in your bones. Like I said before, I have a really powerful meditation coming out on Wednesday, and I have a ton of free resources on the link under wherever you're watching this. If something in today's conversation moved you, I'd love for you to share it and let this be medicine for someone else. And remember, you don't have to rise like a phoenix. Sometimes rising looks like crawling, breathing, weeping, and whispering your way back to light. But you still rise. And I'm so proud of you, so proud of us. You are not alone. You never were. Breathe deep and plan on miracles. I love you.